Hello everyone and welcome to Total War Through the Ages. In this episode we're going to be defending Massilia once again. That's right, it seems to be the go-to place that the Britons always try and capture. But we will be defending it, as well as we will also be gathering our forces for the next major offensive, which I'm really looking forward to because it's gonna be good. In addition though, we're also going to be on the verge of finishing off the Carthaginians. They still have 2 provinces left, and you know, of course one of those is the one that the revolt happened in Spain, but the other one is in Africa, which we're currently besieging, but we won't actually capture it we won't be capturing it this episode. That will have to wait for further. So here we are. We unloaded the army that came over, or finished on. We shifted around. Now this is interesting. I was trying to get my diplomat over here to do the treaty with the Gauls because I had a mission from the Senate and it said it was something like get the Gauls to surrender, and I could never figure out how to do it. I guess it was because I wasn't actually at war with the Gauls, is I think what the problem was. So I couldn't get them to surrender because I was trying to get them to pay me money or something and see if that would work, but they did pay me the money, but it didn't work. So I have no idea what that mission requires. I'm assuming I have to be at war with them because I think the Senate was actually at war with them. So I'm just going to assume that it was I would have had to have been at war with them, and then I could have forced them to surrender. And here, as you can see, we're gathering up a decent sized force here in Italy, as well as over here in Africa. Meanwhile, we have this smaller force that is coming along to assist in the siege. I wanted to go ahead and consolidate because Carthage does have the Carthaginians, I should say. It's not actually Carthage, but the Carthaginians have a decent sized army defending this settlement. It's not a full stack, but it is pretty sizable, and some of the units are beaten up. Now this is the general who I believe he was adopted. I think that was an adopted in Canada. Either way, we got this general over here, and we're going to be giving him command of a army, as well as, hey, man of the hour, we got a new general. So that is great because we have been a little bit short on generals, and that just means that's another general I can add to the offensive that we're gearing up towards. So unfortunately, the two cities, Carthage is pretty happy at this point. I have the happiness under control, but I don't know what settlement is. I don't know the name of it, but the one directly south there, that settlement has still been giving me a lot of trouble with the happiness. But either way, we now have 2 generals that we're going to have to ship over back to Europe because we pretty much are finished in Africa for the time being. And here we have the Britons finally launching their assault. That's a lot of battering rams too. The AI likes to take a lot of battering rams, but I don't really see why, because it doesn't actually help them that much. They have, I guess it helps them if they have way more troops than me, and I don't have enough troops to defend every single breach they can make. But the trade-off is that I have plenty of troops to do that. Okay, I have enough guys that I can at least put 1 unit at each breach, and they don't have enough guys to overwhelm me in all the breaches. So it basically means they concentrate their forces at 1 or 2 places, and that's where I concentrate my place because I deploy after them. So that's something that for sieges I definitely don't get why the AI is programmed to do that. It would make a lot more sense that, I guess in theory it makes sense that we make as many breaches as possible, but I think it would be a lot cooler if the AI, and this kind of goes in general, AI for Total War in general, and oh, by the way, yeah, we caught one of their rams on fire, so that makes it even better because that's one less place we have to worry about defending. But I think the AI in Total War would benefit a lot from having obviously, I understand AI. I do programming, so I understand that, and I have some experience with programming AI, and it is very challenging. Making good AI is pretty difficult, particularly for a strategy game. But that said, I do think there are a few tricks you could do that wouldn't even be that hard. You could definitely set it up. It would just take more. It would take more time. It would be fairly time-consuming and be additional work that the development team would have to do. But I think it would go a long way, and that's just kind of things essentially it'd be programming multiple AIs and kind of doing it where it's randomized which AI you face, and it could actually even be tied to characters, because again, in Total War games, usually each army is going to have a general usually, so you could have it where each general is when that general is created, when it spawns into the game, each general is randomly assigned a different AI from a list of half a dozen or so, and each of those AIs is programmed to fight differently in open battles, fight differently in sieges, fight differently depending if they're defending or attacking and stuff like that. It would just just give more variety, and I think that would help a lot, because obviously the main problem with AI is that it's inherently restricted to that it can't. There's no such thing as a truly learning AI. At least in video games. We won't go into like a more broad sense, but for computer, like video game AI, there's no such thing as a truly learning AI that hasn't been developed yet within the scope of video games. So the problem that you run into is that, for example, like myself, once I've played a Total War game enough in the single player campaign, you start to pick up on a lot of the quirks that the AI has, and you can exploit those, because you can predict what the AI is going to do, because the AI calculates stuff based off of the information it has. Based on different parameters, it calculates what it's supposed to do, and there's only really one calculation. So that's why all the AI across the board fights exactly the same. It doesn't matter which faction the AI is, it really doesn't matter what faction. Now, there is something like, obviously, the different factions, the AIs are programmed to, like, recruit different balance of units, I guess. I think that I've seen that in some Total War games, but the big problem is, again, just that even though when it comes to the actual battles, the strategy, the tactics that they use in the battle, they're always going to be the same. So once you learn what those are, you can exploit them like crazy, and that's honestly the big part of being good at playing single player in a Total War game, or really any game, I guess, but particularly Total War game. It really just come down to learning how to exploit the AI. So anyway, here we have they're finally breaching the walls, or they breach the walls and they're finally charging in. And I did have a slight screw up here, as you can see. Like, I'm frantically like, I gotta pause. So I did have a slight mistake here. I shouldn't have had that warband right there that I just panned from, that's on the far right. I should not have had them be the only unit defending there, because I was thinking, okay, well, the warband can hold and the cavalry can charge in, and that kind of does work. But at the end of the day, it would have been a lot better if I'd used that warband unit, the mercenary warband unit, in a different spot where they would have had swordsman infantry supporting them. And I could have put just one of my legionaries or even early legionary units to hold that position by themselves. That would have been a lot more effective. So here we have, and this is on the far left, I'm not really worried about that. I actually probably could have just done a single unit there and the cavalry unit. That probably would have worked. But, again, I wanted to be safe, so I went ahead and put 2 units. And we're going to charge into this one guy, and we don't kill him. We don't kill him, and it's like, well, at that point, screw it. We're going to just keep charging on to the next unit, because I got to get over here to support this mercenary unit. Otherwise, they're not going to last very long. Because I was aware that they weren't going to hold, so I needed the cavalry to get in there and cause the rout. So here we have the enemy charges a bunch of guys in, and as in typical fashion, at least now that I have legionaries and early legionaries, they pretty much rout. Like, it's not a big problem at all. They rout relatively quickly. At least the Bretonians, not the Bretonians. This isn't Warhammer. At least the Britons do. And I think that's just because their units don't have as good of morale, I guess. I'm not sure, but either way, it seems that they rout a lot. And there, my cavalry actually routed there. Again, that was a warband unit, so they technically have spears. I don't think they actually qualify as spearmen, so they don't have it doesn't say in their units, on their unit cards, that they have a bonus against cavalry. But my cavalry did get destroyed pretty handily there. So here we had a couple of our units charged outside the walls. Kind of not great. I did take some extra casualties because of that, but hey, on the plus side, we killed the enemy general because of it, so it's kind of a win-win. I mean, it wasn't a win-win. We lost a lot more guys than we would have if they hadn't charged outside the walls, but the trade-off is we did kill the general, and that's pretty... I value killing the general pretty heavily. And here's the other mistake I made. Right there, I'm sending the other unit of mercenaries to go and back up the unit of mercenaries. I should have sent one of the other units. I should have sent one of my legionaries over there to help, rather than sending the other mercenaries. Now I think that because actually, yeah, if I recall correctly, that the second unit of mercenaries that I send in actually also routes. Yeah, here we skip forward and you can see they're both routing, and that was the big mistake. I should have used that mercenary unit just to run down the fleeing units rather than doing it. And so we actually can see that the unit that killed them, I believe that's it. Or no, this was a different unit. There was another unit that was over in that general vicinity, and it got past me. And I kind of had charged all my guys out because I was running down. I wanted to inflict as many casualties as possible because that means there's fewer of them left to attack again after this battle's over. So either way, one of their units is rushing to the center. However, I have a unit of Triari in the center to combat them, and I'm also sending quite a few of my units over there. But they are quite a bit a ways ahead of me, and even if I'm running, I won't be able to catch up to them. So as we will see, and that's actually a unit of, no, it is that a unit of, is that a warband? No, yeah, that is the warband. So yeah, that is actually the same unit that caused the 2 mercenary units to rout. But here we have a few of my fleeing units rally. The Triarii are here to hold them back, and without much problem, they break pretty quickly. So once that's done, that's pretty much it for this siege. So we are now in a position where we've successfully defended Massilia, and we're getting ready to get to the end. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself a little bit. I do apologize, but we successfully defend Massilia here. We don't take that many casualties. That was actually a pretty good siege. And then they do have a very large army that's going to be coming up next. They have that other one you can see right there that is en route, which isn't great, because that's going to be another siege we have to defend. I swear, Massilia is like their go-to place. They really want Massilia, and I don't know why, but they really want it. But they can't have it. So, and moving back over here, I'm trying to recall, why did I leave this in the video? Oh, right, so, yeah, basically this is, I'm going to start rallying an army up there to go and recapture the Carthaginian city that's across the way. So that is definitely a big deal. And here we have, over here, speaking of Carthaginians, we have their other last settlement in Africa. And I send my general in to command the main army, and then I'm going to have this second army just kind of supporting to, again, have overwhelming odds against them. And at this point, I was still planning on actually fighting that siege, but I believe I actually auto-resolve it. But again, that doesn't happen in this episode, so I am getting a little bit ahead. I do apologize. Spoilers, my bad. But I believe I don't actually fight that siege out because it's overwhelming odds in my favor. So, and here we have, I'm trying to get the happiness sorted out in these two, in Carthage and the city to the south of it, because it's just they are really not happy. And I'm hoping that once I finish off the Carthaginians, once the Carthaginians are completely wiped out, that will help them not hate me as much, because it's like, listen guys, you've defeated, there's no chance of you ever being liberated, you have completely been destroyed, so just accept that you're Romans now and we can all get along. Otherwise, if you try and rebel again, I'll just kill more of you. So in true Roman fashion, of course. So here we have, again, I'm gathering up this army here because I want to keep the momentum going. So at this point, the Britons still have that one other army that's going to attack Massilia and besiege it. But my plan is that once we successfully defend Massilia from that army, we will then be able to I think that's the last army that they have anywhere near my territory. So once that's done, well, actually, not counting the tier up in Germany that we captured from them, not counting that place, but of like Massilia and Narbu Martius, I don't think they have any other armies that are capable of actually being a threat to those settlements anywhere nearby. So once I finish out that last army right there, just north of Massilia, the plan is we're then going to launch a large offensive once and basically kind of be pushing them back. But interesting fact, they don't actually besiege Massilia, so that was kind of weird. I was expecting them to do it because they usually do, but instead they go for Narbo Martius, which I'm fine with. That's actually the stronger place. My garrison there is stronger, particularly after that last siege. I did take some casualties there, so it'll take a while for me to get those fixed up, partly because the legionary cohorts can't actually be replenished in that settlement because I don't have the correct I don't have the building required for them yet. And here we have, I believe I delay another turn on this. Like I said, I do take my time with it. And then we have this army. This is the general we're sending up here. He's going to recapture the, I don't remember, it's Cordoba, I think. Is it Cordoba? I think that might be the name of the settlement that's in Spain, directly north there, that we lost because of a revolt. So I think that's the name of the settlement. I'm not 100% sure. It starts with a C. It's something like Cordoba. It probably isn't Cordoba. I'm probably wrong, but it is something similar to that. But without further ado, we have come to the end of this episode. So now we will be having a few more. What am I doing? I'm totally rhyming. I apologize for that. I jumped the gun with saying we're at the end of the episode, actually. We have a tiny bit more left. So, either way, we actually... Oh! No, we don't. I don't. No, I don't. No, yeah, I was going to say, I thought I didn't. But, okay, now we're actually at the end of the episode. For a minute there, I tricked myself out. But no, yeah, I don't actually do it. I don't capture that. But, without further ado, we are now at the end of the episode. apologize that screw up. I apologize for that screw up. But thank you all for watching. Be sure to check back for more Total War Through the Ages every Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. And as always, till next time, and as you can probably guess, next episode will open up with a siege.